Happy Tuesday night to everybody watching us here on Ravens Rundown. The Baltimore Ravens caught a huge break. That's what we're talking about on the front half of today's show. On the back half of today's show, we'll go into a little bit of what I believe is Baltimore's biggest surprise offensively and kind of how it works with that huge break that Baltimore may or may not have caught and headed into the Steelers game. Thanks so much again for tuning in. This is Ravens Rundown. If you haven't subscribed already, now is the perfect time to do so because we are in the midst of a heated subscriber battle with our Steelers Talk channel. Jack Sperry has very mean things to say about every single one of you, takes it very personally, and I take it personally too because he right now is leading the sub battle, 61-57. We still got a couple days until game time. Let's make up the difference. Let's pass him. Let's do our part. You do yours right here. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. So on today's show, we take a deep dive into TJ Watt and his injury, okay? If you're late to the party, TJ Watt suffered an injury in the Sunday afternoon football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. This was the original tweet from after the game coming from Ian Rappaport saying a rolled ankle for TJ Watt or a low ankle as Steelers coach Mike Tomlin described it. He wasn't able to come back into the game against the Steelers, against the Eagles. Obviously, that's a big loss for this Steelers team, having not only their best pass rusher, but maybe the best pass rusher in the NFL out for that one. We'll get into a little bit more of his practice status throughout this week and his possible status for Saturday. But before we get into any of that, what is your gut telling you? Will TJ Watt play on Saturday? If you think yes, go ahead and give me a Y for yes. If you're thinking no, go ahead and give me an N in the comment section down below. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break in just a little bit when that time comes. Take advantage of it. Scroll down the comment section. Find this pinned comment and give me a yes or a no. So Mike Tomlin spoke to the media just yesterday following the loss against the Eagles, and he said that he was optimistic about the availability of a guy like TJ Watt in Baltimore. He just saw him walking fairly comfortably in the office and in the locker room. And guys, if you're Mike Tomlin, I'm going to be honest with you, you are going to want TJ Watt to play in this game. And do you know why? Well, because the Steelers are 1-10 all time without TJ Watt in the lineup. 1-10. They're what? A 9% winning percentage without him playing. That's astronomical. And that just shows you how important he is to this team and how important he possibly will be on Saturday, okay? Because in his career against Baltimore, not going to lie to you guys, he's had a pretty salty career. He's played in 15 games against the Ravens. He's gone 11-4 in those games. He has 71 tackles, 17 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. So he's had his way against the Baltimore Ravens in the 15 games that he's played them. I mean, look at those numbers. 71 tackles, 17 sacks. And what this all comes down to, in my opinion, is the guy we just heard from in that tweet. It's Mike Tomlin. And he's got a really, really, really big decision to make on his upcoming status for Saturday's game. Because the Steelers are at a point right now where they just can't think about only the next game. They're 10-5. They're going to go to the playoffs, as much as I hate it. It's the truth. And they've got to think about that when they make this decision on Saturday. So I'm sure he could play if he really wanted to. He's been walking around the locker room, like Tomlin said, looking fairly comfortable. But you got to weigh in what's next for this team. And what's next for this team is quite a few more good opponents. They play in Baltimore on Saturday. Then the following Wednesday, Christmas Day, they take on the Chiefs at home. Then the following Sunday after that, 10 days later, they're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at home as well. So 3 straight games, playing 3 really, really good offenses, kind of makes you wonder what he's going to do. And then you got to worry just making sure he's healthy going into the playoffs, because we all know those games mean more than anything to these guys. to guys like Mike Tomlin, okay? And this update coming out today states that TJ Watt and George Pickens and backup quarterback Justin Fields, not as prolific, they were all listed as do not practice on today's estimated injury report ahead of Saturday's game against Baltimore. So it seems like right now, during the week, they're going to take a little bit of precautions. I would assume he's not really going to practice as this week goes on. But in my opinion, I think they're going to make a game time decision. And it's going to be a big one for Mike Tomlin. Because if he plays and he gets further injured, he misses the last couple games, maybe even misses the playoffs, that's a massive misstep by the head coach. But if he doesn't and they lose, then you kind of wonder, okay, would he have made a difference? Big decisions coming up for Mike Tomlin. But honestly, guys, it might not matter. And I'll talk about that at length on the other side of this ad read. We're going to go into this offensive line, into Roger Rosengarten a little more specifically, but he's been playing phenomenal. So coming up in just a second, why it might not matter whether TJ Watt plays or not. But before any of that, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor on today's video, and that is our good friends over at Game Time. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time, and if you're excited the season's here and want to get tickets to the big game lockdown, you're going to want to give Game Time a shot. It's the only place that I go when I'm trying to get tickets to any college football or NFL game. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. And that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals, which are the highest value seats at the time. For some events, Game Time Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. And just in 4 short days, your Baltimore Ravens will be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. It's the second to last home game of the season. And if you want to get tickets, I promise you there's no better app to get them than our friends over at Game Time. My favorite feature by far is that one you're seeing right next to me is the views from your seat. Right? I can't tell you how many sporting events I've gone to and there's been something blocking my view. And I'm like, okay, if I only would have seen this, I wouldn't have bought the tickets. Well, that's exactly what Game Time gives you the opportunity to do, is see exactly what you'd be looking at before you even purchase them. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account or redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So why might it not matter? Okay, why might it not matter that one of the best pass rushers, maybe best defensive player in all of football, isn't going to play? And that's because this Baltimore Ravens offensive line, and in my opinion, namely Roger Rosengarten, has impressed me to no end as of recent, okay? A little chat stats for you. Rosengarten has allowed just 2 pressures on 141 pass blocking snaps, including 75 true pass sets over the past 4 games. That's the rookie second-round pick in the past 4 games, has only allowed 2 pressures. And it's not like you're facing poor defensive lines, okay? I know you face the Giants, but weirdly enough, the only thing the Giants are good at is getting the passer. They've got really good pass rushers, okay? You are also adding into that the Steelers. You're also adding into that a physical team like the Chargers. And the best front 4 in football, in my opinion, with the Eagles. You're playing really good opponents, and he's holding his own. Not just that, he's excelling. And if you look at tackles drafted in the top 2 rounds of last year and where they rank in Pro Football Focus, Roger Rosengarten ranks second, just behind Joe Alt, okay? But he's ahead of J.C. Latham, Olu Fashanu, Taliese Fuaga, Amarius Mims, Troy Fautanu, Jordan Morgan, Tyler Guyton, Patrick Paul, a lot of those guys even going ahead of him. Yet, he's right there in the top, exactly where we wanted him to be when we made that draft pick. And if you look at Watt and what he did in Week 11, he had his worst performance of the season. Sorry for the voice crack right there, but that's just how much this fires me up. His defensive grade, 57.9, was the worst for him. His run defense grade, 63.8, was the third worst on the season for him. His tackling, 28.5. That was the worst for him. And his pass rush, 47.8, the worst this year as well. And when you add into that Roger Rosengarten's PFF grades of run blocking, 81.2, pass blocking of 79.4, and overall of 82.1 over the past couple of games, that makes me feel really good about this team's chances, whether Watt plays or not. Now, obviously, you're going to feel better if Watt's not in the game. But even if he is, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I've got faith in Roger Rosengarten, even going against the best, one of the best in the National Football League. I want you to do something for me. Grade the play of our guy, Roger Rosengarten, in the comments section down below. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Play teacher for me. You can use pluses or minuses as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I said on the top of the show, we are in the midst of a subscriber battle with Steelers Talk, so to help us win that battle, come out victorious on the YouTube side of things, make sure to do one favor for me, and that is hit that sub button.